Welcome once again to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast. As always, I am your host, The Mind, and with me is my co-host, The Body.
Yes!
Welcome to the show, Body.
Oh yeah, we're going to show plenty of Christmas and holiday cheer by just destroying people like we usually do.
Absolutely. Merry Christmas to all and happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah if we're in that. If we're in that
I think
season.
we are in that season,
so.
unless it's past, but I think we're in it.
Yeah, let's pretend that we are.
Mm-hmm.
Hey! Because whenever you listen to us, it's always a festival. It's always a holiday.
And even happy Festivus to anyone who celebrates that.
Festivus for the rest of us. So today on our show, lots of sports as always to talk about, and as we promised to you all, we'll always be looking for the odd and the off the wall. And today we're going to talk a little bit about powerlifting. Humans that can lift ridiculous amounts of weight. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that even. Grrr! Grrr! I took my injections before the show.
Well done.
Thank you. I feel extra strong.
I think last podcast had an influence on you. The strongest.
The strongest.
The strongest.
With all this extra power, we might go for a 2-hour show today instead of just a one. Grrr! And then speaking of power, we'll continue on to the NFL, reviewing Week 14 and looking forward to Week 15. Then, of course, in the middle of winter, what else do you talk about? Baseball! Yes!
Hot Stove League!
Oh, yeah. The stove is hot. We got lots to talk about. There's winter meetings going on and all kinds of shenanigans and deals being made and being talked about.
Everyone loves shenanigans.
Oh, who doesn't love a shenanigan? And as always, we'll end our show with our epic and suck of the week. The moment we thought was epic, the one moment we thought sucked over the last couple of weeks, I guess.
Oh, mine has been a tormenting week after week suck.
And mine has been a tormenting year after year suck. So we're going to be on full power for this one. So let's get the show started. And as promised, we're starting with some weightlifting. Grr, angry. So this topic came literally out of just a random conversation I had with some friends, and they were mentioning someone they knew that is into powerlifting, and that they claimed this person could lift 500 pounds. And I thought, madness! No human being can lift 500 pounds. That's like Captain America stuff. Impossible, I said.
People can lift 500 pounds.
Well,
not many, but some.
And it turns out that, yeah, I wasn't even close as far as what people could maximum lift. Like for bench press. I thought, okay, sure, squats, okay, yeah, legs, powerful, sure, 500 pounds, why not? Sure, anybody can do that. But yeah, so looking it up, yeah, in case you're wondering, the bench press record, world record, is actually at 738 pounds. That's the record for bench press.
As strong as that person is, that just sounds like a particularly awkward way to live your life when you're that jacked.
Yeah. You mentioned an issue with them drinking some nice coffee.
Oh, yeah, just even having a coffee or a water and trying to get your muscles up there because there's probably zero flexibility, muscles upon muscles in the way. I almost wonder that that's where, like, Arnold got his accent at first, not even from being from Austria. He's all jacked in his power days and just going to go enjoy a beverage and trying to get it up and
frustrated.
Muscles getting in the way of other muscles trying to get this drink up to his mouth.
It's true. It's like the wrestler in the Bugs Bunny cartoon there.
Oh, the Crusher?
That Crusher! It was just muscle on top of muscle. So yeah, you're trying to move the coffee cup towards your mouth and you can't because all your muscles are in the way.
Actually, that cartoon character was the original Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner.
That is true. That was.
That little muscle on top of the muscle, I've only seen that from Big Papa Pump.
That is
true. It almost looked like a thumb of a muscle on top of a muscle on top of a muscle.
It was. Big Papa Pump did it right. He is a cartoon character. So I'm sure that our bench press champion here, Kirill Sarachev of Russia, did this record in 2015. 738 pounds. I'm sure he's got like muscles living on top of muscles.
Living on top of more muscles.
Yeah, the town of Muscle. So some records here that I found thoroughly fascinating. For squats, the record there. Squats. The record there for good old squats was set by an Israeli, actually, Vlad Alhazov. Vlad, great name. He set a record. The world record is 1,102 pounds for a squat. And the world record for the deadlift is by, surprise, surprise, an Icelander. Benedict Magnusson did this in 2011 at 1,015 pounds.
Jeez.
Now, the interesting thing is that these records are kept as both open records and drug-tested records. So obviously open, anything goes.
Mm-hmm.
So these ones that I gave you are all the open records.
Mm-hmm.
So let's compare them with your drug-tested records, shall we?
Oh, I am so curious. So curious.
So for squats, the open record is 1102. The drug-tested record is 1069. So we're only about 40 pounds difference here between drug and no drug.
Boy, if audio could just show the look on my face right now.
For bench press, you wonder.
Oh boy, do I. Kind of like if you have a bridge in Florida to sell me.
Oh yeah. Well, for all anything goes, it's 738. But if you're getting drug tested, you can only lift 710 pounds. 28-pound difference.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the deadlift. This is where you might know this person. Big difference in this one. So the world record for the deadlift in the open category is 1,015 pounds. Hey, it's our agent.
Hey!
For drug tested, it's Mark Henry with 903 pounds.
Wow.
So yeah, Mark Henry.
Significant difference in that one.
Yeah, it's like 100-pound. There's like 100-pound difference in those. So I was actually surprised. I actually thought there would actually be more massive differences between the open and the drug-tested lifts.
Yeah, I highly question the drug-tested, air quotes.
Air quotes.
Drug-tested.
Drug-tested. So there you go, fans. If you ever wondered how much can a human being lift, now you know. 1,000 pounds. So let's move on from the world of powerlifting, and why don't we go on to the world of National Football League, where they might have the odd powerlifter living in their sport.
The odd drug-tested athlete.
The odd. So this week 14 we had a smattering of games. Let's get to them. Quite a number of surprises, actually.
Smattering keyword when we talk about good games.
Smattering, yeah, that's true.
Though there was some really good games and ones that were good.
Yeah. So let's start with some feasting here. We had New England going into Miami, looking to finally best this team. And once again, a lateral face plant. All Hail Mary. Not.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with New England, Miami, but I think Tom Brady's now 1-5 in Miami. And the big play was a 70-yard lateral play. Now, Rob Gronkowski, and this is how New England's done this before on Hail Mary plays in the end of the game, have had him back for the jump ball. But this would have had to have been a 70-yard pass. So you got to think more lateral than bomb. Mm-hmm. And when it came down at the end, it was Gronkowski instead of the best tackler and a safety being there. That was the difference.
Yep.
When Kenyon Drake scored.
Yeah, that was...
Belichick outsmarted himself.
Yeah, I think that was the case where, the coach just being too clever for his own good.
I will say this, though. He's made so many good moves. You know, he's due and he's benefit of the doubt to have a move like that.
Yeah, you forgive the odd chowderhead move for all the massively good ones that he's done. But yeah, Miami, they're like a slasher movie villain. Every time you think they're dead, they keep rising up again.
Yes, and in vintage fashion this week on the last play there.
Yeah. So okay, so they're obviously neither team is done yet. Next game we want to look at is Baltimore and Kansas City. I thought this was going to be an upset for Baltimore. I thought their defense is going to go into KC and show the world how it's done.
I thought the defense played well. I think there's a few things. I think at the end in the second half, KC adjusted and stopped the running game. Once they stopped the running game, I mean, you can't keep the Baltimore defense in the field that long and have a chance.
Yeah.
I want to say Kansas City showed me something. Not just in beating a good team, but Mahomes took a beating and played well. And Tyreek Hill on a bad ankle still played well. So he's not just some finesse speed guy. He's actually got the Chiefs showed me some toughness this week. Because sometimes you see these teams that score a lot of points and you don't think of toughness.
Yeah.
But Mahomes and Hill showed me some toughness this week.
That is true.
And their defense did play better. Has been playing better. It's not been great, but it's better than early in the year. By the way, strong possibility Eric Berry due back this week.
Oh, okay.
So
the defense is just going to keep improving.
Yes.
Just in time for the playoffs.
Yes.
Not bad. So KC showing that they can win pretty. And this week they won ugly.
Yes.
That's making more and more of a believer every week. Okay, that's Baltimore and KC. Indianapolis and Houston. This game was supposed to be, or at the beginning of the season when the schedule came out, this was supposed to be a laughter of a game. A nothing joke no one would care about. Must miss TV.
Division clinched unless Jacksonville did. And Indy in the basement. No, Indy is right in there with the big win.
Just goes to show what happens when you add one all-star quarterback.
You know what else they added to all-star quarterback, though?
Uh-huh.
An offensive line to keep them upright. Something they hadn't had much of the last few years.
And probably Luck's attitude or Luck's style of play changing as well. And not willing to just get crushed on every single hit anymore.
Yes.
So I think the coaches talked to him about that, look, man, you don't need to stand back there until the absolute last second to make the perfect throw.
Well, let's say it's three things. The system and the coaching, the offensive line, and the injury. Maybe you need that injury scare to actually sink in.
Just set him straight.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, Houston had his big, massive 9-game winning streak. No more. Now, Indianapolis.
This week it was Houston with their big winning streak. The week before is New Orleans with their big winning streak destroyed.
And the Colts have brought themselves with that win, like, right in the hunt for a wild card spot. So, yeah, so it's 7-6. They're playing well and getting better with each week. So look out for Indianapolis now.
I would agree.
And I wonder how Josh McDaniels feels about not taking this coaching job.
I think Indy should feel good because I think Frank Reich's a better head coach than Josh McDaniels would be.
Yep. Now there's a thought. Is any team ever going to offer McDaniels another coaching gig after what he pulled in Indy this past offseason?
I'm going to make a two-part prediction. I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say they're going to regret it.
Yeah.
Maybe in the long run. Now, I could see him pulling another thing. Like, remember when he was in Denver, he started 6-0?
Yeah.
I could see him coming out, starting well with whoever,
and
him falling on his face. I just don't have a good feeling about him.
Well, with what he pulled in Indianapolis, because from all the reports in the offseason, it was pretty much signed, sealed, delivered. He was kind of like, where does my bond type deal? Yeah, I'm going to be your coach. I'm going to sign. I just need to physically show up tomorrow to sign it. And all of a sudden, the next day he has a change of heart, says no.
And I think I even said it back then. I thought it turned out for the better because I thought Ray could be better than McDaniels.
Yeah. So, that's the thing. So that makes me wonder that if another team is going to be like iffy on even offering this guy a job,
Well,
given that
I think someone will, but I think you want your head coach to have character, and he lacks it, in my opinion.
so far, yeah.
I think he'll get a shot, and I think whoever gives him the shot will regret it.
So basically, it'll be Washington.
Hopefully not Cleveland.
Hey, speaking of Cleveland, that's who we want to talk about next. Carolina, they went in with their 4-game losing streak, going to Cleveland.
Neither one of us had noticed they were on that bad a losing streak. I knew they'd been losing.
Yeah, I did not think it was no silly 4-game losing streak. I thought, whatever. Yeah, they lost. Whatever, 3 out of the last 4, 3 out of the last 5, well, it's 2 out of the last 4.
It's gone from silly 4-game losing streak to serious 5-game losing streak.
Yep. That is insanity. Like, this team was, like, free and clear, playoff spot guaranteed, life is good, to where now the struggle is real.
I want to look at their schedule, because there's been an epidemic of teams going hot, cold, hot, or cold, hot, cold. So I just want to look at their possible streaks this year. 5 losses in a row, right? Mm-hmm. Before that, it was 3 wins in a row. And before that, it was a lot of win-loss, except the start of the year when they won 3 in a row.
So 3 in a row, some bumps.
Oh, no, that was preseason. Sorry.
Okay.
So, no, it was back and forth, and then win 3 in a row, and then...
lose 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, that is unreal. Yeah, this totally caught us by surprise. Did not realize that Carolina was suffering this badly. Meanwhile, Cleveland, it looks like they may have at long last found their quarterback.
Yes.
I was like totally wrong on Baker Mayfield. I thought he was going to be like another Johnny Manziel type and just kind of like screw around and not take this seriously, but he has done the exact opposite.
I thought he'd take it seriously, but I had doubts. Before in the off season, I kind of went back and forth because there's stuff I liked in college last year, and then there was stuff I didn't like some of the immature stuff he did. I didn't like the fact he came from an offense where it was a lot of high school improv. Though it's a really good college system, not an NFL system. But I liked how tough he was. I liked his moxie in that. So there's stuff I liked. Then when he went into the draft process, I didn't like the fact that he talked about was it San Diego's playbook he hadn't really looked at?
That's the one.
And I didn't really like that. But then there's a couple of things I heard later after Cleveland had took him. Well, there's one thing I heard and one thing I thought of as a possibility. There was a call-in show on Sirius XM in the States where someone had talked to his old high school coach.
Yep.
And the guy raved about his work ethic. I thought, okay, that's good. And then talked about his relationship when he took over as the starting quarterback and how it was when he's on the bench behind the original starting quarterback, and then how his relationship was with the other quarterback when he took over the starting job. And apparently it was the same at Oklahoma. And then that kind of encouraged me. And then when I heard about all the work ethic and how early he was in there. And then I kind of thought to myself, because I started thinking of the San Diego thing again, not looking at the playbook.
Yeah.
Well, what if maybe he never did because he knew he was going to Cleveland first overall to start with?
Right.
So I was kind of conflicted. I wasn't sure what to expect. I don't think I've been so confused by quarterback prospect in a long time. Yeah. So I really didn't know what to expect. And, he's really turned out for them.
Yep. It's been a pleasant surprise, and Cleveland finally got it right.
Yes. Took enough tries.
Yeah.
20 years?
Yeah, 20 years. So there you go. One team on the way up, one team on the way down. And oddly enough, if you do look at the in the hunt playoff picture now, suddenly the Browns show up. Obviously, their chances are minimal, but they have now shown up as in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Frightening.
I'm trying to remember which week they got rid of Hugh Jackson now.
See, was it week 4? After week 4? Yeah, I think it was after week 4.
Was it week 4 or was it later?
I think it was week 4 because I think Hugh Jackson got to 40 games exactly as coaching Cleveland.
That would have been... that would have been week 8.
Let's think about that. Yeah, 16, 32, 8. Yeah, there you go. Geez, I wonder if they're counting. Were they counting preseason?
So
I think it was just regular season. I think.
So if I'm looking right, I believe they're 3-2 since booting Hugh out the door.
That sounds about right. Yep.
They've won more games in just over a month without him. They did in over
2.5 years.
Oh
yeah.
Hugh Jackson.
Thanks for coming out. Speaking of coming out, Green Bay. They played Atlanta this past weekend, and just when everyone thought they were dead, they fired their coach. All kinds of anger, all over the place. They beat Atlanta 34-20. You mentioned that you think Atlanta is basically an epic each week.
Oh, well, we were talking about the hot and cold. The 4-9 Falcons have now lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've lost 5 in a row. Following winning 3 in a row. Following losing 3 in a row.
Oy. Good heavens.
This is a team of epic streaks.
This is
they're epic suck, epic like, and epic suck again.
This is supposed to be a team of density this year. After that, speaking of epic, that epic fail in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, I think most people thought that the Falcons this year, they're going to basically too much talent on that team to not rebound and become a contender again.
Well, I know they've had some serious injuries on defense, but they ooh, bless you. But
that was real.
That was damn real. But they're still too talented to be as bad as they've been. By the way, Julio Jones with 5 touchdown receptions this year. He's got 94 catches, 1,400 yards, and 5 touchdowns. What do you have? 3 touchdowns last year? 1 something insane?
I think it was like no more than 3. I thought it was like 1, but
it was
maybe it was 3.
3 tops. Even 5 for what he is.
It's
so there is a big time problem in Atlanta with just how to use this guy.
And I guess all the defensive injuries they've had have kind of like skewered any chance the defense had.
Yeah.
And also, Devonta Freeman, he also got injured too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess no running game, no defense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, everybody gets shut down.
Yeah. You can't shut people down. You can't score because you don't get your best player the ball in the end zone. And you lose a lot.
It still seems, I suppose that's just the product of all those injuries just creeping up. You would think, though, that, when you have like Julio Jones and Matty Ice on your team, that they would still, at the very least, be a 500 team?
Well, I got to say this. I know we've talked about coaches getting fired right after going to championships and we're surprised. In this case, though, even though it's only been a couple years, I think Dan Quinn has to go in Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking like it because
it's just been straight downhill.
Because the injuries, I could see the injuries derailing their hopes for playoffs, but still, there's still talent on this team, and I would have expected at least 500.
Yeah, too good to be 4-9.
Yeah. Speaking of too good, Super Bowl champs were in Dallas this weekend for an epic NFC East anger clash. So the question to be asked is, Oakland, how's that first-round pick working out?
Oh, we're going to get into the epics about that later.
Oh, that Amari Cooper fellow. He had another good game in Dallas.
Oh, 217 yards. Looked like a beast.
Yeah.
Why would we want him in Oakland?
Wow, why would you? It's better to have a first-round pick.
Oh, God.
Yes, sir. Nothing like having a coin flipped over a 2-time, 3-time Pro Bowler.
Fantastic.
Well done. So this was a move that I couldn't understand. That I heard so many people, so many so-called experts, deriding the Cowboys for making this move. Like, oh, you gave a first-round pick, it's too much.
No, it's not.
And I thought they were out of their minds. It's like, what do you mean it's too much? You are getting a proven, multiple-time Pro Bowler who's 25 years old, in his prime. And you've got this guy playing at his prime for another 5 years. And then you gave up a first-round pick, which may never play in the NFL.
And then on top of that, too, I know I talked to someone who speculated, well, he quit in Oakland. I don't know if he did or not. let's be honest. After the Khalil Mack trade in Oakland didn't just hurt the defense; it hurt morale.
I think the whole team quit after that. Like the whole team, the whole coaching staff, the whole city. Like I think even the black hole got slightly gray after after that horrifying Khalil Mack trade.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally agree. There's no way you can look at that team after that horrible trade.
Can't look at them the same.
You can't judge any of those players because that was devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That killed morale even more than they killed their lack of pass rush.
Oh yeah, and with Amari Cooper, I mean that was the one thing that thought that for sure Dallas needed was a legitimate passing threat to further open up the run game.
Someone this week talked about how he's kind of like a young Des Bryant. It's like, no, Des Bryant wasn't even doing this much.
No, Des Bryant was like a good player, and he would show flashes of brilliance.
But not this.
But it would be flashes. Des would... I never found to be Des... like, he was a good player, but I never found to be, like, this consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, with Amari, life is good.
Unless you're in Oakland.
And for the Eagles, like, this is crazy.
Well, Eagles. Linebackers are hurt. Defensive backs are hurt.
Running back hurt.
Just injuries galore.
And quarterback getting over a hurt.
But while everyone else is injured.
Yeah.
Your secondary is decimated. Your linebackers are decimated. Your running game's done.
Yeah, so I guess literally just a team suffering from just way too many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
6-7. Yeah, it's looking pretty dicey for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Speaking of dicey to make the playoffs, Pittsburgh. They went into Oakland this week, and you mentioned that these teams basically got the exact opposite result that they both wanted.
Yeah, before I get to that, interesting weekend. New England can't buy a win in Miami, and Pittsburgh can't buy a win in Oakland.
Yeah.
No matter how good Pittsburgh is, how bad Oakland is, no matter how good New England is, how bad Miami is. But yeah, Pittsburgh going in, needing a big win for a playoff spot. Oakland needing a big loss to the hunt for the first overall pick. And in typical Raider fashion, they go win a game they don't need. In typical Steeler fashion, they go choke in a game they need. Can you really say anything more about this?
Who could ever think that winning would hurt so much?
And Gruden's you see Gruden celebrating. It was big win number 3 on the year. Yeah, we did it.
Yay!
Now we're in a 3-way tie for the first overall pick.
Because I was so worried about not getting paid my $100 million guaranteed contract.
Go get the pass rusher, Chucky. Go get the pass rusher.
We'll go do that thing.
Oh, God.
Oh, yuck. Yeah, this team can't even,
can't even lose right.
They can't even tank properly.
This team can't even lose right.
Heavens to Moigatroyd. That is embarrassing. Pittsburgh, all of a sudden, they're in a bit of a funk here. They're
in some danger. They went and stopped to the absolutely unstoppable Oakland Raiders.
That impenetrable Oakland defense.
It's funny. I have a friend who's a Pittsburgh fan, and both of us were just unhappy about this game.
Yeah. And he was legitimately afraid before this game started.
Yeah, I told him, don't worry.
And we both laughed at him.
Yeah, even knowing the history of Pittsburgh and Oakland, it's this isn't even your daddy's Jamarcus Russell Raiders.
Ouch.
That Roethlisberger will go in and handle him.
It's how do you burn through $30 million? Give it to Jamarcus Russell.
And he can share it with Troy Tulowitzki.
We'll be getting to that. Woo! Look out. Oh, booyah.
Hey.
Well, how about we go to some happier times? Maybe two teams that aren't fighting for the Suck Cup. The LA Rams and the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah, we just finished talking about Amari Cooper, and now we're going to talk about Khalil Mack. This is just so awesome.
Isn't this great? It's like a tag team.
This is like a preview of things that come on this show.
Ding, ding, tag, you're in, Amari. You're in, Khalil. Do your thing.
As good as Khalil's been, holy smoke, Aaron Donald's been like just off the charts, way better than even Mack has been. The two best defensive players in the league, top paid, actually earning their money, were in this game. This game, both quarterbacks looked off, but off as both quarterbacks were, both defenses were fantastic. Congratulations to the Bears. Congratulations to the Bears on their big win here. We found, because the weather in Chicago was cold, but it wasn't super cold. There was no wind. There was no precipitation. We found it's a good thing the Rams are going to be at home, more than likely.
Yeah.
Because we found the Rams cannot deal with cold weather.
Yeah, they don't like it cold.
No, they don't like the cold.
Yeah, and that is evident by Chicago beating them 15-6, 6 measly points. It's all the Rams could muster. So yeah, look out, Jared Goff. Stay by the coast, friends. Stay by the coast.
Yep.
And lastly, our last Week 14 game that we want to basically rant on is the Monday Nighter, Minnesota-Seattle. This thing was brutal.
84 million ways to disappoint.
Oh my goodness gracious. Kirk Cousins, just an epic fail all around the entire evening. The fact that this game was 3-0, like in the second half, like in the middle of the second half, 3-0. Like $84 million, and you can't score any touchdowns.
Let's just put this in perspective. The Vikings lost to a quarterback, Russell Wilson, that night with a 37.9 passer rating on the night.
Yeah, because Russell Wilson, he only got a total of like 77 passing yards or whatever.
10 for 20, 72 yards and an interception.
There you go.
Good enough to beat the Vikings.
That not only good enough, they beat them 21-7.
Yes.
Like, it was a blowout. The 7, they only got that, like, with, 2 minutes or a minute left to go in the game? So even that 21-7 score isn't as close as it sounds.
Seattle reels off their 4th win in a row in the playoff hunt.
More streaks.
Yes. And the Vikings. Ooh, it's just the Kirk Cousins. Few things I want to say about this Cousins thing. I'm going to put on Cousins first and foremost, and I'll come back to that. But when you run the ball as well as they do, and Mike Zimmer has kept them trying to get his offense to run the ball more. I'm surprised he didn't fire his offensive coordinator weeks ago for not listening to this, because I think they throw the ball more than anyone else in the league. And Kirk Cousins has never been that guy. He's always needed a running game that at least helps support him. Now, having said that, I think that's the offensive line can be better and the running game can be better and help the offensive line. But as much as that's the case, when you take a 3-year, $84 million contract, all guaranteed, well, those are the expectations on you, so live with them.
Yep. Yep, that's very true. And, I mean, right now, it'd be a 6-1 team, and it looked like, watching that game, that Kirk Cousins was playing scared. That there were, potential throws he could have made, and he did not want to make those throws for fear of an interception or whatever. So that's just bad news that on year one of this huge contract, you got a quarterback who looks like he's already lost his confidence. Ugh. So that is it for Week 14. So now how about we look at Week 15? There's a few intriguing games that we've lovingly handcrafted.
Lovingly handcrafted.
We've picked for you. So let's get to them. Let's see who we think is going to rebound from their brutal Week 14, and which teams can just keep right on going, the good ship sailing.
We were going to speak about the Thursday night game, right?
KC-LAC. Yes, we are.
I think the Chargers match up well with the Chiefs in most circumstances. This is not one of them. And here's why I say. If they can overcome what I'm going to talk about, this could be a really good game because you have Rivers and a really good defense. But the reality is this late in the year, teams are both beat up in that. That's the way of life in the NFL. And you have the Chargers going halfway across the country on 4 days rest for a Thursday nighter. I don't think that bodes well.
Yeah, and it's a good point to bring up because we've seen that before with other teams that have done this kind of cross-country tour, and it's and it always shows.
Mm-hmm. Like I know it's only halfway across, but on that little rest, that might as well be across.
Yeah. Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, they're not facing, Oakland.
No, they're facing the Chiefs in Arrowhead.
Or Cincinnati. They're facing the Chiefs at Arrowhead, which is just a terrible place to go to no matter what, no matter the condition of the Chiefs. But yeah, going cross country, fighting a good team who just came off a big win against a tough Baltimore team.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, high praise, high confidence for the Chiefs.
If LA wins this game, or even if they as much as make this close, kudos to them on the short rest on that trip.
And this will be interesting because so right now we criticize them for, actually not them. We criticize the Rams for not handling cold weather.
See how the Chargers handle it.
Let's see how the Chargers do it. Another LA team. Because around this time it should start getting a little frosty in Kansas City.
Yes. To get especially night game.
Exactly. Ooh, chilly.
Yes.
Good test. Say, Saturday football is back.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're not going to talk about either one of these games.
All right, then.
We got Houston at the Jets, Cleveland at Denver, but it'll be worth watching.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see Saturday night football. Don't we have some college bowl games on Saturday as well?
We made already.
It's kind of...
it would be some of the bunk games.
That must be what it is, because I thought, this is odd having college football and NFL on the same day.
If we even have any college starting yet, let's see.
Yeah, because that's like the streams colliding, dark matter and
bowls.
Matter and antimatter.
Oh, yeah, there's a... Here's some of the great bowl games.
Was it going to be the Chick-fil-A Bowl?
Oh, no, it's even better than that.
Oh, heavens.
The Chick-fil-A Bowl, I think, has moved up over the years. We have Tulane against UN.
You can't even say the name.
Yeah, UL Lafayette.
Give it up.
I don't even know where it is, but it's called the Cure Bowl.
The Cure?
The Cure Bowl.
Like the band or getting over a disease?
I probably some preparation, so getting over a disease. It's like Camping World Stadium, Orlando, Florida.
Camping?
World Stadium.
What are these names?
Then at 1 o'clock, we have one I've heard of. It's Utah State at North Texas in the New Mexico Bowl.
The New Mexico Bowl.
You've never heard of the New Mexico Bowl?
And New Mexico's not in it.
No, we get a lot of these this time of year. It's at Dreamstyle Stadium in Albuquerque.
Of course it is.
At 2:30.
Oh, no.
Arizona State at Fresno State in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Make it stop.
Oh, no, I won't. There's 2 more games that day.
I'm dying here.
Georgia Southern and Eastern Michigan at the Camellia Bowl?
The what?
The Camellia Bowl.
Isn't that like an animal changes colors?
I guess, because it's at Crampton Bowl. That's an
Crampton Bowl?
In Montgomery, Alabama. But hold on, the main event of the evening.
Oh, this should be a winner.
The New Orleans Bowl, Middle Tennessee at Appalachian State.
Of course, Middle Tennessee, because Tennessee needs to have a middle team, an upper team, and a lower team.
That's right.
Absolutely, just like East Coast Coastal Carolina.
That is the Saturday Bowl schedule.
Oh, my Lord.
Are you excited?
I am not. I feel worse about myself
Next
now.
week, on certain weekdays, we will have the Boca Raton Bowl, the Frisco Bowl, and the Gasparilla Bowl.
This is a...
Oh, and the Classic a week from this Friday, and I forgot about this one for a few years,
Oh, no.
the Bahamas Bowl.
This is a case where knowledge is not power.
Let's just go through some of the other bowl names for humor. There will be the Idaho Potato Bowl, the Birmingham Bowl.
Oh, no.
I'm not going to go through all of them.
No, let's not.
Hold on, the
This is
Hawaii Bowl
painful.
isn't on Christmas this year? What the? There's going to be the Dollar General Bowl, the First Responder Bowl, the Quick Lane Bowl, the Cheez-It Bowl.
Suddenly, this week's Oakland and Cincinnati game is starting to look appetizing.
A couple weeks down the line, we've got the Camping World Bowl, which would probably be back at Camping World Bowl Stadium.
Wait a minute, they're having a Camping World Bowl this weekend.
No, that's a different bowl game in the same stadium. So I think that stadium's getting 2 inept bowl games.
This is a travesty.
Yeah, it is getting 2 inept bowl games. One stadium is getting 2 inept bowl games.
There is no future here.
Even I've been pounded into submission at this point.
That's good, because it gives us a chance to switch to Tampa Bay versus Baltimore Ravens.
Bring back Joe Flacco. I liked Jackson's performance this week, but I think in the second half, Kansas City started showing how to stop that run a bit better. Uh-huh. And I think once teams adjust and start stopping Jackson, they're done. I think it's time to go back to Flacco if he's ready.
I agree. Lamar Jackson, all he had was his legs, and those have been taken away. It's Flacco time.
Yeah, it's Flacco time.
It's not Vader time. It's Flacco time. How about Rodgers time? Green Bay at Chicago.
I believe they have still not won on the road this year, but can they win on the road with Joe Philbin? Will they look like the Packers of old? Or will they just lose on the road again? This could be an interesting game. Let's see what Packers team shows up. The one that always beats Chicago. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a weird one, too, because there is such an intense rivalry. So you never think of Green Bay Chicago as a letdown game. But Chicago coming off that big game against the Rams, could the Packers be a letdown for them?
Mm-hmm. Packers would be a letdown for them. Because,
No matter how much everyone trumps the oldest rivalry in the NFL, this is still a letdown. This could be the first road win of the year for the Packers.
Interesting. That would be huge implications, because it would actually give them hope all of a sudden back in the playoff race. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is potential upset special here. Oh, God.
Yeah, I was thinking upset special. We probably looked at the same game upsetting for anyone watching it.
Yep. Oakland, Cincinnati.
Oh, my God.
We dubbed this the all-offensive game of the year.
And not by scoring points. Like, anyone watching this should be offended.
I'm offended even saying it.
You're a Cincy fan. I'm a Raider fan. And we're both offended knowing our teams are participating in this debacle.
I'm offended that they have more Cincinnati games scheduled. Like, this team...
I'm like guys with Oakland, too.
This team should, neither of these teams, quite frankly, should play another game this year.
Oh, they shouldn't be invited back this year.
Yeah. Like, this is where I wish that the soccer style of relegation would exist in the NFL, because both of these teams should be relegated to the second division.
Oh, boy. Yeah, should they ever.
So that's enough out of those losers. How about Tennessee and the Giants?
This should be a pretty good game. Giants are playing a lot better. Tennessee's playing for a playoff spot. Should be an interesting game. Never really know what you're getting from the Titans week after week. I do like their defense. Never sure about their offense. Like I said, Giants have been playing better. Tennessee not very good on the road, but could they go in the Giants and win? Possibly. It'd be really interesting to see what happens here.
Well, Tennessee has been, we were talking about like streaks before. Well, this is a team where they haven't been streaking. They've been kind of like win one, lose one, win one, lose one.
They've been the exception to the rule.
Yeah, like they've had a couple of big wins lately against teams we did not expect. Mm-hmm. And then they've gone and had just face plants.
Well, this is their
year against teams we didn't expect.
They're in a 2-game winning streak right now, which before that was a 2-game losing streak, which before that was a 2-game winning streak, which before that was a 3-game losing streak, which before that was a 3-game winning streak, and the year started with a loss.
Yeah, so Tennessee...
So, no, they streak like everyone else, but just in smaller bites.
Yeah, exactly, more bite-sized streaks. So they have a legitimate opportunity to get a wild card berth, but if they lose against the Giants, this will be a significant blow to any playoff hopes. Mm. And the Giants could do it because, they are rolling now. Speaking of rolling, Miami and Minnesota. What do you think here? is Cousins going to come back and basically justify his mad contract? Gut check.
Yeah, this is an interesting game because it could be a gut check for him. Miami's 1-5 on the road. Minnesota's 4-2 at home. That defense plays much better at home, but we'll see. Is Cousins' confidence so shattered that Miami could win this game? Or, we see this before where a guy has a dud of a game like Cousins does and comes back next week. I would think Minnesota wins this, but I wouldn't be putting my house on this.
Yeah.
Like, Miami's got a shot here. I don't know if I'm convinced enough to put money on Miami, but I'm convinced enough not to put money on Minnesota as 7-point favorites.
Yeah, I feel the same. This is like a coin flip.
Mm-hmm.
Neither team has proven themselves worthy of really jumping on their bandwagon.
No, this is one of these games. If Minnesota's defense plays well enough, I could see them, because when their defense plays really well at home, they really dominate.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just the fact that Buffalo won at Minnesota earlier this year is enough to scare me.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to a less scary game. Dallas and Indianapolis.
This should be a really good game.
Suddenly, this is an interesting game.
I think this is the second best game of the week.
Yeah. Dallas are actually underdogs in this game. And you
3 points because of home field.
Home field, yeah.
Mm-hmm. This one could go either way. I'm going to take a shot on Dallas, though.
All right.
I do believe.
I don't blame you.
Now, the one thing worrying me is a trend that really has nothing to do with this. The last 2 weeks, the team with the top winning streak has lost. Right now, Dallas has the longest acting winning streak.
Interesting.
So, kind of scared there, but it might be worth taking a long shot on Dallas. We'll see.
Okay, so this will be good to see if this streaky league this season continues.
Continues, yeah.
All right. And the last game that we've lovingly handcrafted for you this week is New England and Pittsburgh. Both teams looking for a rebound.
Both teams, the lose,
loser leave town?
Loser leave town, yeah. Both teams losing at places where they can't win last week.
Yeah.
To teams that should be inferior to them. Yeah, Patriots defense been a question. Pittsburgh is a question right now. One of the things I usually find goes well for Pittsburgh is when everyone doubts them in that is when they usually play their best football.
Yeah. That is true.
And they usually do better when everything's in upheaval. Except when they play the Patriots, that rule doesn't seem to go well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been in upheaval against the Patriots and they lose. Mind you, they've rarely been in upheaval against the Patriots. And I'm not so convinced this is a typical Patriots team right now. This one, this one's going to be really interesting to see how this one plays out.
Patriots finally looking like they're showing some cracks, some warts.
Yeah, I think so. They're still one of the best teams in the AFC. And I mean, remember, they did beat Kansas City earlier this year.
Yeah, well, they're 9-4 right now, so even if the Patriots lose, it won't affect their standing as far as playoffs. But if they lose, will there be any kind of confidence shaken, or are the Patriots just going to ignore this and we're off to whoever they play the next week?
Well, no, this actually matters to New England because don't forget, the top 2 seeds get the bye.
Yep.
And if Houston wins and New England loses,
yep,
all of a sudden it's Houston's the 2 seed and New England's hosting a wild card game at this rate.
Right.
When if you host a wild card game, that means you're on the road throughout after.
Right.
And I don't know. When New England's gone on the road in the playoffs lately, they've usually lost with the exception of the Super Bowl game, which is neutral site.
That's true. And if the Steelers lose this game, then there's a legitimate shot that they could be passed.
Yeah, this might be one time, as much as I talk about the Steelers dealing well with adversity, it could be such a mess there if they lose this week. I don't know if they deal well with adversity this time if it hits after a loss.
Yeah, so big game here. And even this week, for the first time, I've been hearing talk of Tom Coughlin's job all of a sudden being in question.
Really? Before we get to Coughlin, because I want to ask you about that. I think Marone should be in question.
Yep.
The Steelers, this is really huge this week, because guess who they get after the Patriots?
Oh, dear.
They go to New Orleans.
That's not good. Oh, that's not good.
So Coughlin's job could be in. I could see Marone's job. I think I heard they actually got rid of their offensive coordinator. Actually, I think they got shut out after they fired the offensive coordinator. I'm not absolutely sure.
Bodes well for the O coordinator.
It looked like the team quit this week. I've heard from one person. I think it was Lewis Riddick was going off from ESPN was going off about he knows quit when he sees it.
Oh yeah.
So what's the deal with Coughlin's job? Maybe because I don't think Coughlin should be on one bad year.
Yeah, well,
look how good the year last year was.
Yeah, well, there's the talk that the feeling is that that the Steelers, with the talent they have, they should have been in more Super Bowls, and that Coughlin's decisions over last
Are you talking
few
Coughlin or Mike Tomlin?
Or Tomlin?
I was thinking you meant Coughlin's president job in Jacksonville.
Oh no,
I was like,
Jacksonville. Yeah, no, wrong name.
This is still surprising because the Steelers just don't fire head coaches.
That's the thing.
Though I remember there was talk rumors of Cowher a few years ago and he stayed around. But
yeah, and that's the thing with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Yeah, the Steelers just don't fire. It's like what? 2-3 coaches in 16 years or even longer than that.
Oh no,
I think it's longer than that.
No, it is 3 coaches in
30 years.
40,
yeah,
40 something.
Yeah,
because Chuck Noll goes back before I was alive.
No, there you go. So
and I'm 47, and that's Noll, Cowher, and
now Tomlin.
Yeah.
So there's the thing, but yeah, the thinking. There's been some talk, and I assume it's just talk, but when the talk begins, whereas before, I don't think such talk has ever happened before.
There was a bit about Cowher at one point when he had a couple rough years, but they stuck with him.
Yeah. So, but the fact that all of a sudden Tomlin's name is being talked about as, the team should be doing better, they should be in more Super Bowls, they should be going further with the talent they had, and then some questionable coaching decisions have basically gotten in the way of this team's success. So, who knows if all of a sudden the Steelers lose, and should they actually miss the playoffs?
This team's far too talented to be missing the playoffs.
Yeah, so...
one other thing I'll throw in there is, in the Noll and Cowher era, you never heard of controversy nut people like you have in the Tomlin era.
Mm-hmm.
But mind you, it was a different era, too. It's harder to control players now, I think. Mind you, in the NFL, though, it's not like the NBA. You still have control over contracts, so...
Yeah. But
there's been a lot of kind of crazy stuff come out of Pittsburgh the last few years. That never used to come out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So now, the talk has started, for as small as it may be, but it has begun. So, one to watch here in Pittsburgh.
I wouldn't get rid of him myself.
I wouldn't either.
But if you had another year like this one.
Yeah. And that becomes the off-season decision. Should they actually miss the playoffs, then it becomes, do we want to keep this guy for another year and hope that he rebounds? Because we don't like firing coaches in the mid-season, so that means no matter what, we're going to stick with him for a whole year.
Mm-hmm.
And what if we're having a clunky year?
Because how many years does Roethlisberger have left?
Yeah, well, he was already thinking of retiring last season.
Yeah.
And he came back this year, at first against his will, and then, so I don't know. Yeah. What if at the end of this year they don't make the playoffs? Roethlisberger figures, okay, that's enough of that.
I just figure as long as you got Roethlisberger, you might as well ride out Tomlin.
Yep. So, yeah. One to watch. So that is our review of the good old National Football League. As we mentioned before, it is winter. So, baseball time.
How suitable.
Winter meeting is going on, so there's a few stories. We figured that we'd get on it. First of all, starting with good old Andrew McCutchen, lifelong Pirate, until he got signed last year with San Francisco, or traded there. Traded, I think.
I think traded, because now he's a free agent going to Philly.
Yeah. So played with the Giants for 1 year, and now he's just signed with Philly today.
Was it 3 years, $50 million?
Yeah. So what do you think of this move?
Not bad for Philly. I mean, he hasn't been the same player, but while $50 million sounds crazy, when you talk about how crazy baseball contracts have gotten, not too bad.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good young players. They could use a decent veteran. He doesn't have to be the guy there.
Yeah.
he could probably meet 6th or 7th in the order, and you're okay.
That's the thing.
The only question is what you get year 3, but I think most contracts you're overpaying at the end anyways.
Yeah, true.
As long as you get 2 decent years. This is no Albert Pujols deal.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is a bit more manageable. I was surprised that he still got that much. Like 3 years, $50 million.
I would have gone 40, but
yeah, I guess probably, yeah, Philly, young team, veteran presence, and hoping he'll rebound, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
My advice to Andrew, grow the hair back.
Oh, you need the dreads.
Long hair, the dreads meant success. Ever since he did the accountant thing, there's been no success. Let your hair go, man. Let your hair go.
Let your freak fly.
Yeah, there we go. Speaking of freaks flying, Toronto couldn't wait to get rid of theirs. Tulowitzki, Blue Jay no more. Released.
38 mil rolling out. Pam, there's the door.
I'm going to give you $38 million to not show up for work. How do I get these jobs?
This is living the dream.
My goodness.
This is absolutely living the dream. I never want to see you again. There'll be $38 million in your account. Thanks.
Why would the Blue Jays do this? Why would you pay him $38 million to never again? Like, you're going to pay the money anyway. Why not have him on your roster?
The best part is one of the Canadian media outlets, there's a headline, why did the Jays release Troy Tulowitzki? And then I got about 5 paragraphs in, glancing, and didn't get to the reason and just stopped reading. Tell me why!
It absolutely defies logic. For why would you give a guy so much money and not have him there? Even if you just want him as a utility player, a backup, a pseudo player coach. I don't know.
You still pay him.
A mentor, a psychiatrist, yard keeper, anything like. But you're literally getting nothing. Bad boy. Like, but you're getting nothing out of him and giving him $38 million. Yeah,
did you say Oakland was interested in him?
Yeah, his childhood dream team, Oakland A's. They are showing interest in Tulowitzki, and looks like he is considering.
When he went to Toronto in the first place, I liked him as a player, but he never stayed healthy in Colorado. I never understood it.
Yep. Yeah, and he had, first year he did well in Toronto. And
they started getting hurt again.
And I don't even know if he managed to make it all the way through year 2.
No.
Yeah. The injury started,
But here's the weird thing, because weird things happen when Oakland gets discount players. Watch him stay healthy for 120 games and have a reasonable year.
Yeah.
Guy can't stay healthy for a decade, go to Oakland.
Yep.
And all of a sudden have a reasonable year.
That's what happens when you have a nice, beautiful coastal city, nice, beautiful real grass, and playing in an ugly, ugly stadium.
With no one there to watch you and stress you out.
Yeah. See? Stress-free environment, clean living, health.
Could be 120 games in there.
Be the next person we want to see how many games he plays. Speaking of health, Bryce Harper. Washington has basically said, nope, we're walking away. We've offered you $300 million over 10 years. You said no. We ain't going to give you more. What do you think?
Wise move on Washington's part. We've seen this guy in the playoffs.
And we've seen him not be healthy, too.
Yes.
So the health issues are they're already creeping up, and he's, 24?
Yeah.
So this is a bad sign when somebody that young is already having, issues staying in the lineup.
Health issues and a history of clutch failure.
Mm-hmm. What, a 170 batting average in the playoffs doesn't get you going? Doesn't entice you to open up that checkbook?
No. No.
$300 million, $30 million a year, not enough.
What fools do you think are going to sign him? Who's in the hunt?
Well, in the hunt, you mentioned.
I hope
fools.
the Cubs aren't in the hunt.
Well, Philadelphia is one of the teams in the hunt.
Don't do it, Philly. Don't do it. You're rebuilding. You're just going to destroy yourself.
Yeah, there's apparently Yankees are not one of them. Apparently.
Okay. There's something you've told me over the years that you've had a theory on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little different, but goes along the lines of your theory. You've told me when a team gives up on a guy going into free agency, that usually tells you something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he hasn't been a Yankee. But here's an equivalent kind of thought.
Yep.
When you're a big name free agent and the Yankees aren't looking at you, that should tell the rest of the league something.
Yep.
Because the Yankees at least look at every big money free agent.
Oh, yeah.
If the Yankees aren't looking at them, that should tell the rest of the league something right there.
Yep.
So anyway, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're right. Because I mean, that was the classic case with that was good old Albert Pujols, where St. Louis nope, you've been good to us, but you ain't worth no $30 million a year. Mm-hmm. Good luck wherever you go.
And Washington's already done that as well. They offered him $30 million. Yeah.
Yeah. And
so both his team and the Yankees are out.
And the Yankees say that there's no room in their outfield for Bryce Harper. So yeah. So Yankees, where money is never an issue.
No.
They say nope, no thanks.
Boston's not looking either.
Well, so far it looks like outside of Philly, Chicago White Sox are also looking. In the hoping of expediting their rebuild. So there's a team looking for them. So yeah, Chicago White Sox and Philadelphia. So far, from what we've been hearing, those are the two that are willing to shell out some cash. So
that tells you something other teams aren't.
That's pretty bad. Harper going to the White Sox. There's a team with nothing, like nothing, no pitching. Like what? 2 good batters.
It's time for Harper to fire Scott Boras.
I think Harper's going to be in for a world of pain, just like Pujols,
and just whoever signs him.
Yep, yeah, and whoever signs him. I know it won't be Pittsburgh.
Hey, and it won't be the Cubs. Hey,
I think $30 million is the entire team roster salary for the Pirates. Another player looking to make a move is Manny Machado.
The Macho Man.
Macho Man.
How many teams are looking at him? I'm sure this has to be a much more lengthy list.
Well, so far, sounds like the big 3 are Philadelphia, the Yankees, and again, the White Sox. So Philly and White Sox.
I think you look really good in Philly. You look really good in New York. The White Sox, you just go kill your career already. Mm-hmm. Take your money and kill your career.
Yeah. Because I agree. I think I'm surprised White Sox are even looking at such things. Mm-hmm. And figure if you're going to do this rebuilding thing, then just
rebuild first.
Rebuild. But yeah, so watch out there, Machado. Interesting news that popped up this week as well. Billy Hamilton,
Kansas City Royals.
Mm-hmm. Bringing speed over to Kansas City and his 70 stolen bases.
You can't steal first.
Yeah, that's the problem. Stealing all those bases is good, but a .230 batting average does not help you get those steals.
No. That reminds me back in the day when the Montreal Expos signed Ron LaFleur.
Ah, yes.
And all the stolen bases. And I'd watch him not get on base game after game and just want to throw stuff in my TV.
That's the problem, is you need to get on first.
Yes.
Either need to be able to take a walk, but if pitchers know that you can't hit, why would they walk you?
Throw strikes all day.
All day. And if you steal bases, chances are you're a pretty skinny guy, so you're never going to get hit with a pitch. So you got to hit. That's it. So my advice to these guys, bunt. Learn how to bunt and bunt well. Because if you can bunt, then your speed will kick in.
Yes.
Then you could practically steal first base. Billy Hamilton. Another interesting bit of news is with relievers.
The market is flooded.
The market is flooded. Usually there is an average of 40-some relievers. This year, it looks like there's going to be 76 available in free agency, including big names like Craig Kimbrell in Boston there. So all teams needing relievers.
Have at it.
Have at it. Doesn't look like you're going to have to pay very much. Get what you want. Bargain basement prices. And lastly, you brought up a Hall of Fame candidate, or somebody, actually not candidate, he is going to the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, Harold Baines, who was a good solid player in the 80s for the Chicago White Sox, outfielder DH. I think it was 389 career home runs, which isn't a Hall of Fame stat to me. Was it 289 batting average, I think?
Yep.
I think he only had a couple of hundred RBI years. Type of guy I would take on my team. Type of guy should be on the team's Ring of Honor. Hall of Fame? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I agree. There's been...
Carlos Delgado is in the Hall of Fame, but Harold Baines is going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a kind of a symptom, unfortunately, that all these leagues are suffering from now is almost like every year they feel
they have to
obligated.
Put someone in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they have to put someone, and there's people going in who are in the very good Hall of Fame. But they're not.
They should be in the Hall of Solid.
Yeah, the Hall of Solid instead of the Hall of Fame. And I think our boy Harold here, yeah, it's like, good player, very good player, but yeah, he should be in the Hall of Solid or in the Hall of Very Good, but not in the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Above by Average Mike Sanders.
There you go. Above average. Mike Sanders, very good. I like that. But yeah, I always think of, like, even in the NHL, just a few years ago, Mike Gardner got into the Hall of Fame.
How about Bernie Federico?
Yeah. Bernie Federico, former St. Louis Blue. Well, Mike Gardner, for me, like, he was Washington Capital, Phoenix Coyote. I think he played for the Leafs as well.
I think so. Did he spend any time with the Stars or anything?
Oh, boy.
Minnesota?
I can't recall if he did.
I'm not sure if he did or not.
But I know he was one that, he would be in the Hall of Above Average.
Yeah.
Like Mike Gardner. Yeah, he had some 30-goal seasons, and he had some decent seasons, and he was a good player.
I think he might have had a couple 50-goal seasons when everyone was scoring 50 in the 80s.
If he did, yeah, maybe one or two, but
nothing more than that.
But in an
era when everyone was scoring 50.
Yeah, he was more of a kind of a
30-goal guy.
30-goal guy. So that was another case of somebody going into the Hall of Very Good or in the Hall of Solid. So there's been a lot of these lately, and it looks like our boy Harold Baines is another one. Congrats to him, but if we had a vote, he wouldn't go in.
No. I would take him on my team, but not put him in the Hall of Fame.
That's right. You're good, just not that good. So, with that, it brings us to our last segment, our epic and our suck of the week.
Oh boy.
The moment we both thought was epic and the moment we thought sucked over the last week or so. So, Body, take it away.
Well, first I'm going to give my epic like, because my epic suck, there is going to be a lot of anger on my part. But first, my epic like, it's actually more of a negative thing, but I find it's just so comical. For me, it's an epic like.
All right.
So, recently, Chicago Bulls fired their coach, Fred Hoiberg, who had thrown on the firing show. There's actually been a couple of coaches who've come around and done better since then, but nonetheless. But he gets fired. After he gets fired...
That's why we did the firing show.
Yes.
People listened.
His replacement, Jim Boylan, apparently less than a week into his tenure... oh, this boy does it right. He faced a crisis. Not even a week as the Bulls' new head coach. So anyways, he planned to practice on a Sunday, even though the Bulls had played back-to-back games. That's going to go well. Apparently, some of the players discussed not showing up, and instead of a practice session, they held a team meeting instead. Before Monday's game, Boylan apparently said everything was fine, and he was just going to continue to push the team hard. This, according to a story I'm reading through the Score, site in Canada. He apparently was quoted saying, "I expected something like yesterday to happen. I've been waiting on it. I was prepared for it. I took it head on. Gee, I wonder why you're expecting it." By the way, the end result after all this goodness was the Bulls at home dropped a 108-89 decision to the ever potent Sacramento Kings. So Jim Boylan, Chicago Bulls, you're my epic like for just doing it all wrong. Well done.
Well done.
Wow.
Boylan.
I'm going to push. Oh, my God. Yeah, how's that working out for you, son? My epic suck. Oh, my God. I'm ready to throw shit. Being an Oakland Raider fan, we went through the Khalil Mack situation earlier in the year, and I was watching him make big play after big play, and he's still making big plays. And now Amari Cooper is playing out of his mind in Dallas. 217 receiving yards this week. Another game a few weeks ago where he went for over 180. He's just absolutely lighting it up. And I can't help but think where the Raiders were if they would have kept both these guys right now. 2 years ago, the number 1 seed in the AFC. Was it number 1 or number 2? I can't remember whatever.
Yeah, so they could go from being the number 2 seed above to the number 2 from the bottom up.
Oh my God! This is
number 2 in the draft.
Cooper losing his mind, Mac losing his mind. Jeez, like it just. Good thing the trade deadline's gone. Well, I don't even know if there's anyone left to trade aside from Carr. So, that's my epic. I can't even go into it more if I wanted to throw stuff all over the place. It's just angering me.
As far as
epic levels.
As far as Derek Carr goes, in the words of Bill Goldberg,
you're next. You're too overqualified to be a Raider in the Gruden era.
Exactly. You have talent. You must go.
For a draft pick that they'll probably flub.
Yeah, love those coin flips.
Love them.
I have an epic and I have a suck. My epic is actually comes from the world of wrestling, but it's not what you think. I am epicking NXT.
That's a worthwhile epic.
That's right now the minor leagues is overtaking the major league shows by leaps and bounds. Whereas both Raw, definitely Raw, and SmackDown to a lesser degree, but Raw's had some struggles over the last few weeks, kind of uninteresting matches, uninteresting stories. Whereas NXT has been pretty much hitting it out of the ballpark now for like a couple of years and just getting better and better. The crowds, it's definitely a different crowd, a lot more excitement. People are definitely just raw and they're loud, rowdy. They sing constantly. And the talent on the show as well, I think probably due to the raw, simple nature of the show and everything, has just shone. So you got players, wrestlers there like the Velveteen Dream, who just basically like kill it every time they go out there. The Gargano and Ciampa, splitting those guys up and each one going their own separate evil route has been fantastic. Undisputed Era, great team of villains, kind of like almost bringing back the Four Horsemen at long last. Mm-hmm. On the women's division, lots of good talent there. Former UFC fighter Shayna Baszler is transitioning nicely to the world of pro wrestling. Nikki Cross, Scottish wrestler, Kairi Sane from Japan. So altogether NXT is just really like pretty much just hitting home runs.
I'd actually like to add a couple other notes to that too. Mm-hmm. They seem to have the right length for their pay-per-views because some of the major pay-per-views for the WWE shows drag on a bit when you get to some of the bigger ones.
Right.
And another thing I'd have to say is it's not good that the major shows suck. But as we head to Royal Rumble and WrestleMania season, that is an especially alarming sign.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so hopefully the big shows can start to learn a little bit from the farm system. And maybe.
Once Vince McMahon goes, I harp on this all the time.
Yeah, maybe a little less will be more. So this week, my epic is NXT. My suck, this comes from the world of journalism. And this is a topic that has bugged me for very, very long. How many of you out there have heard a reporter being asked, Oh, so do you think this team's fortunes are due because of this thing? Is it more because of this, or is it more because of that? And how many times do you hear the reporter say, well, it's a bit of both. I hate bit of both. I can't stand it. It's like every reporter that says that should be like instantly cut off and instantly like taken off the show and never again invited back. They should never be allowed to write an article in which they ever say that, oh yeah, it's a bit of both for this or that. It's like, if you're asked if it's going to be one or the other, then pick one. It's always one is more than the other. The two are never equal. It's like, if you can't get off the fence and make a decision, then you don't belong in my world of sports. You suck. You're no reporter. You're a punk. You're a patsy. Don't ever want to hear from you again. There is no bit of both. You suck. That's what it is. It's both. You suck and you suck more. There.
So a bit of both.
No. All of both. Weak reporters sitting on the fence, you are my suck of the week. And with that is our show. Body, thanks again for another great show.
It's been a pleasure mine.
And thank you all for listening. Please remember to subscribe and like our channel. This has been another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.
Yeah.